what's happening? This is Johnny Lozoya at the Las Vegas Super Show with the president of the Imperials Car Club, Eugene Hernandez, Spanx. He's one of the first guys I met from the Imperials Car Club in 1972, believe it or not. The Imperials were run like a corporate America company when I first got invited to their car club meeting. Thank you for that invitation, by the way.
Hey, Johnny, over 40 years.
It's been
over 40 years. Over 40 years.
It's been 40 years. You know, we've all gone through different paths, different walks of life, and a lot of different stories have been told. But I want you to share your story of your education and how you develop that.
So first of all, being in the Imperials means a lot. It's a great organization, car club. I had the opportunity to meet Johnny back in 1972. We used to go up north to Oxnard to go meet with this club, have barbecues, have a good time. But you know what, Jesse Valadez, my mentor, made it real important to say, you know what, Spanx finished school. And so I had to take a hiatus from the car club to go back and finish my bachelor's of arts degree in child development.
Right.
Became a teacher, an elementary school teacher.
Right.
I worked in the district for 42 years. I just retired in June, senior management for LA Unified School District. My last job was in charge of COVID testing for over 500,000 kids and 96,000 employees. So I had a great career. I learned a lot, but the base of leadership came from Jesse, and I used that model as I became a teacher, as I became a principal, a local district administrative operations, to use the same thing that I learned from the car club: consistency, communication, and coherence. Wow. That was important for me, and so I'm honored to have the opportunity to come back, right? Be the Renaissance, reborn, run into old friends, right? And then come back to these shows and say, you know what? It's all about modeling, being the best that we can for the Chicanos. That's what it's all about.
Right. But you know, you took a quantum leap. He took a quantum leap into education, and what you brought back with us to share. You share back with us how we can better ourselves as a community, right?
Yeah, it's important that, because I would show my picture of my car. You got a lowrider? Here you are with the masters in education. What do you do with the lowrider? I say, you know what? You never forget where you come from. You always remain humble, and it's all about, you know what? This is my professional job, but when I take off my tie and my coat, this is what I like to do. It's in my culture. Like I said, my mentor Jesse Valadez and Art Valadez, he brought me up as a kid. And guess what? I always wanted to be a Imperial, and now I have the opportunity to help lead and become the president of the Imperials so that we can move forward.
You know, I first met Art Valadez, matter of fact, in Santa Paula, California, and he had Jesse's car with him, and I had the courage to knock on the door at his uncle's house and asked who owned the car, if I could talk to them. I wanted to invite the car club at that time to Oxnard for a picnic. But little did I know that was going to turn into a lifetime career for me, because once I went to the Imperials meeting, it totally expanded my horizon on lowriding. You know, I was sharing with a colleague of yours, Danny Ramos, earlier, that I've always had this executive type mentality for lowriding, and that was my job. And now it has been my job now to be able to share. What do you think about that?
I think not only sharing, but documenting the history.
Right.
You come a long way. I understand you do car shows, you put on car shows. You're always advocating for the lowrider, for the Chicano movement, going into the direction of scholarships, meeting with politicians to say, you know what, this is what we're all about. So for you to do that, you're a pioneer in yourself, because there are very few people, especially Chicanos, that do that and promote the positivity and what we could bring to the table, because it's unlimited. So I'm going to thank you too, man.
Well, thank you. Once again, I'd like to thank the Imperials for setting the standards back in the day, and thank you for inviting me to that first meeting.
Lifelong friend, brother. Take care.
Take care.
All right,
we're ready. So it's so good to be here at the Las Vegas Super Show with Spanx, the president of the Imperials Car Club. You know, we've been talking about the economy, we've been talking about what's going on with the social media. So tell me what you think about that.
Well, I think it's it's important that you understand what's happening behind social media. There's a lot of lies, but because it's available, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all these things, people tend to believe that.
Right.
I suggest take a step back, get all the facts, and then make a decision whether it's true or not. Like I was mentioning to you earlier, I wish I would have seen 100 TV cameras here.
Right.
Because you see families here.
Right.
You see different ethnic subgroups, Asians, Anglos, Latinos, Blacks. This is a family event. I mean, this is thousands and thousands and thousands of people who contributed to the economy of Las Vegas. The millions of dollars that we're bringing in because people are all coming from all over the United States to see the Super Show. So again, it's important. We have buying power too.
There's probably people here from around the world. You know, we've been contributing to the economy for so long, and it's finally being recognized. Even at the SEMA show, the Specialty Equipment and Manufacturers Association show for the world has Lowriders there as one of their headliners.
Right. Because you know what? They see it as a potential market.
Right.
So that's important that we got to hit that mainstream. We got to hit that we're part of the regular society mainstream. That hey, we're part of it. We were right.
The phrase that I use is "Somos America." We are America.
We are America.
But we're the America that's been denied.
That's right. That's right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you.
Hey, what's happening? We're here at the Las Vegas Super Show in Las Vegas, Nevada. We have the guy who taught me all about lowriding, Benny Ramos of the Imperials Car Club, Los Angeles. Benny, good to see you so much.
Same thing, man. Same here, brother.
I know you're in El Paso now.
Yeah.
And you took the process over there from Los Angeles to El Paso.
Yes.
How's the car club doing up there?
Oh, we're doing great. I think this is, everything has its ups and downs, but we're probably peaking right now after all these years. It's every year you think you're gonna peak, but right now we got about over 20 cars and about 5 more, 10 more coming out. Heavy hitters, our quality of our cars, so it takes a little bit longer than usual.
Well, that was my next step. I first met Benny, and it must have been about 1972 when we went to the Imperials meeting, which was run like corporate America company. You could not get in there. You had to be invited, and then you were put on a schedule to speak. And they were so gracious. I was flabbergasted, and I said, "This is the car club I want to learn from." And I was in a car club called the Stylistics at that time. We invited you guys to Oxnard to have a picnic. And we had a grand picnic. We had, matter of fact, Imperials Car Club went there twice. But now, you've grown up, you're in Albuquerque, you're in El Paso, and what other areas are you in?
Colorado, and New Mexico, Roswell and Albuquerque, So, and then Phoenix, you still got some guys here.
Right.
The main chapter in LA,
Now, one thing I want to share with you is that there's a phrase called Imperial Material, and that Imperial Material phrase is not just a phrase. It is about the impeccable vehicles the Imperials Car Club of Los Angeles have built. They set the standards. They set the standards for everything you see today worldwide. How did that come about? I know it was under the direction with Jesse Valdez.
Yeah, Jesse Valdez, basically the godfather of lowriding, and with the Gypsy Rolls, and just the detail, the finish and detail on our cars. Like Johnny says, back then we were all younger, and we ran the thing like a corporation, and we had our minutes and on and on and on. But our cars, we always tried to stay a step ahead of everybody as far as the detail and the types of cars that are coming out. Back in the 70s, you had more custom paint jobs, and some of them you still see that now, but we're more focused on the cleanness of the body and the windows, and like we always had. Back then, the cars were only 5 years old, 6 years old, so it was a lot different than now. Now to fly our black, you got to go through the whole car from the ground up, regardless if you're going to chrome or not.
And like I was saying earlier, this was a car club that followed in the footsteps of corporate America. It ran like a club. It looked like corporate America. The vehicles were impeccable. And today you're in 4 or 5 different states.
Yeah.
So we are proud to be here with the Imperials Car Club, who have set the standards for everything that's going on in the world today. Then I want to thank you very much for the sound.
It's great to see you again, Johnny. You know, I know from Rockstar you went to Phoenix, and now I see you all over the media and stuff. So it's great, man.
Well, you know, I have to tell you though, if it wasn't for the Imperials Car Club meeting that I first got invited to, and like I said, you had to be invited.
Yeah.
It would have never happened, because I always had what I tell my grandson here, Eddie, is that I've always had an executive attitude towards lowriding. And when I went to the Imperials meeting, that's what was taking place. An executive night meeting, and a automotive field club, which were called custom cars at that time. We called them custom cars.
Yes.
And that was very important to the club to state that it was a custom car. And we are lowriders in lowrider fashion, but it was a custom car.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that, because we were just talking about when did everybody start calling us lowriders, but it was custom cars back then, and you know the way the general public looked at the Mexican American built lowriders, custom cars, you know, was a lot different, and we really had to work hard to get out of that persona. And as far as people, the way you know, you have the movies with cholos driving by in expensive cars, drive-by shootings and all that. It just wasn't real, you know?
Well, you know, that was basically part of the Hollywood myth. But I want to, in closing, I want to thank your brothers, George, David, who were part of your program in El Paso, and really established the Imperials Car Club out there. Thank you, and thank the Imperials Car Club, whose all vehicles are Imperial material. I just wanted to share the fact that we're starting the super events of Lowrider Legacy. It's a new trend in terms of documenting our true lowrider history. Everybody has a story, and everybody's story is true because that's their life experience. And the Imperials had the life experience. And we've always talked about it.
Yes, we always have, and it's important because you have a lot of people out there that are really flyby, but everybody puts in their 2 cents in the whole atmosphere of low riding, you know. But it is important what you're doing, Johnny, because you're gonna try to get the people to understand where the roots come, where it's spread out. From LA to the rest of the Southwest, into Mexico now.
Right.
You know?
It's all over the world.
Yeah, so.
And it's important that people understand when your club set the standards, they set the standards for the world now. But more importantly, we need to share and educate the youth that don't know. And that's what we were talking about previously.
Yeah.
You want to share a little bit more about that?
Well, yeah, you know, like I said, it's great that what you're doing, you're going to put out there the history, which a lot of kids don't know about. You know, you go back 20 years, even back to, I think Boulevard Nights was the first movie that really showed, that separated the little brother that used to still belong to the gang and the older brother that he got away from that and got into the cars and was trying to make a better life for himself and stuff. That's important stuff right there.
But there's more. There's more to the community than that.
Yeah.
And that's what we're planning to share on Super Events Entertainment, Lowrider Legacy. We want to thank you for sharing this time with us, Danny Ramos.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you.
Hey, what's happening? We're here at the Las Vegas Super Show with Poly from El Paso.
That's correct. El Paso, Texas. Me and Johnny been in this game for a long time. Back in Phoenix, Arizona. Johnny, you remember that, man? Back in 79, 81. Good times.
Poly, what's your full name?
Pablo Heredia.
And how long have you been in the Imperials in El Paso?
Since 1979.
79.
1979. One of the original members from El Paso.
Wow. So that's been a while. You know, I first met the Imperials in 1972.
Wow, that was, yeah.
And again, that was like going to a corporate American company.
In 72, I was 10 years old.
Man.
Yeah.
But you tell me what's going on in El Paso with Lowrider.
It's back up. It really never died, but it's going strong, and the good thing about now is we're all united. Every club's united now. No more conflicts, none of that stuff now, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it changed a lot. It changed a lot.
You know, so you and I are also friends on Facebook, and I know you do a lot of construction work. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I have a remodeling company. I was in the car business 30 years, and I left that. And me and my buddy decided to put an ad in the paper, handyman, and then it just took off like a rocket, and no looking back no more, you know?
And I've seen you build some phenomenal homes.
Yeah, I give thanks to my employees, and you know the detail from learning from cars.
Right.
I put that into the homeowner's home. You know, detail. That's what it's all about.
Well, you've been with the Imperials since day one in El Paso.
This one, yeah.
And, you know, I've always been proud to be a friend of your club. And I want to thank you for taking your time
Oh, no
out
problem,
here.
Johnny. And it was a pleasure to see you. It's been a long time, brother.
Well, you know, also we have a mutual friend, our mutual friend,
Terry Anderson.
Terry Anderson.
Rest in peace, brother.
TJ, we love you.
Yeah.
We love you, but you know what? These guys were inseparable.
Yeah.
Inseparable. And I always remember that every time I see you, every time I see you.
I was in LA last week and I saw Big Smith.
Oh.
I went and we got together, hadn't seen him in a long time, and we reminisced a little bit, but we're still here. Terry, we still love you, brother.
Oh yeah, we love you, TJ. He was a good friend.
Yeah, he was. TJ Anderson.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Johnny, it was a pleasure.
Hey, what's going on? We're here at the Las Vegas Super Show with none other than Danny Padilla of the Imperials Car Club and the Star Car. Danny Padilla has been a member of the Imperials for so long. I've known you for about almost 30, 40 years.
Yes.
And tell me about how you got into the club.
Well, I just happened to come by to the lot in 1977, and that's when I got into the club with this car. But then I transformed it later on to what you see today, and it's been painted for 37 years now.
Who painted it?
Crazy Art Bullington.
Art is one of the most iconic artists in
Yes.
the world on lowriders.
Yes. He's since passed away, but I still carry on the car in his memory, and for the club too as well.
So Danny, the car is so iconic. You've got so much going on there. You've got Michael Jackson. Tell me what else you got on there.
It has various artists along with Michael Jackson, including the president at the time, which is Reagan at that time, and so on. There's so many, all his family, over 150 pictures on the car.
Well, you know what? This car is one of the most iconic cars in the world that I've ever seen because it reflects not only our community, but it reflects what we can do as international artists like you did.
Yeah. I did this in tribute to Michael, but as well as for his wonderful music, and then to bring and draw attention to the lowrider community and the world, like a crossover car.
Right. And this car has been almost all over the world?
Yes, it has, and it's also been at the Peterson Museum for 1 year on display, and it's been featured all over the world on various news programs and so on.
So, don't let Danny fool you. When I first met you, you had a cowboy.
Yes,
Right.
yes, I was just a little simple bug, but I had just bought this car. It was all stock, and I said, I want to transform it and build something that's going to last to decades of time.
So, we want to thank you, Danny Padilla of the Imperials Car Club, whose vehicle is definitely Imperial material.
Thank you.
And I really respect you for having the perspective of this type of vehicle. In closing, is there anything better you'd like to thank?
Just like to thank Super Vince, Art, Crazy Art, that helped me create this masterpiece, and then the Car Club, Imperials, which inspired me as well.
Well, there you have it. Now, Eddie's going to take a walk around and show you the car.